What's up, guys? John the voiceover guy here from PumaPlow.com. Welcome to an on the farm video. You can see we're not really at the farm yet. We'll be there eventually. So this is the flooding video, like I promised last week in the flood prep video. The whole go-kart track. No, it's underwater. So this is the first time that I got to go to the farm, kind of after all the rain we had. We had like, 10 inches of rain or whatever. And believe it or not, none of this is river water. This is all rainwater that couldn't get out, basically, because the river is so high. And if you guys remember those floodgates, all this water, all the way from like town all the way out to the country there, all has to drain out through those floodgates. And when the river's high, the floodgates are closed, the water can't get out. So basically all the water that you see in this video really shouldn't be there. I mean, that's a horse pasture right there. So that's a cornfield. There shouldn't be any water there, but kind of happens. That's more horse pasture, actually. There's a couple of little horse pastures down there. So there's like a ditch under the road, and we actually had to drive through water. I know they say turn around, don't drown, but the water was only a couple inches deep. And if we were to say get washed off the road, you're just going to get washed into a field of standing water, that water that's not running. So it's, I don't recommend driving through flooded water, obviously. It's very dangerous, but you could see here, we would wash into the ditch, we could walk out of it if we needed to. We're not driving through a raging river per se, because that's just not what it is. It's just like ditches that are too full. So more fields that just shouldn't have water in them, but 10 inches of rain, washing across the road here again. It's just crazy how much water there actually was down there during all this. And like I said, this is after about 10 inches of rain that we had. Yeah, just crazy. We had to drive through water like 3 times to get to our farm this day. So this is actually like before we started any kind of flood prep or anything. This is our gravel road going into the farm. That was like foot deep on that one side almost. So just crazy amounts of water. And you can see it splashing, it looks so cool. But yeah, like I said, this was actually taken all before we started the flood prep and everything. I was just kind of holding on to this footage just because. This is actually a couple days later. The water splashed on the trees and then was freezing. It was kind of cool. So, like I said, this was taken over maybe 2 weeks. Look, the road's closed. I can't imagine why. That road is actually going to be closed probably all winter, because that water there doesn't actually drain. It's kind of trapped by train tracks and whatnot. So even this here too, it just doesn't drain. But you can see it goes from like nighttime to boom, bright sun. So now if you guys remember last summer, all that driftwood, this is the parking lot. That was the parking lot with all the driftwood. We couldn't even get into the parking lot because there's so much water. So this is in like the downtown of our town. And look, there's a park bench underwater. I thought it was hilarious. Hey, there's still Christmas lights in the tree. That's cool. Another picnic table, underwater. So just kind of cool. Little pavilion underwater. So like I said, guys, there was just water everywhere. Now this is river water. This is on the river. So that water there is supposed to be there, but this water is not supposed to be. So this is river water from the other river. And you can see how deep it was right here with that stop sign. That's just crazy amounts of water. So now what you're looking at here is actually plywood. Now we talked about a little bit that, like on our streams and stuff, that guys spent all night down there putting plywood on top of the levee to hold the water back. And they were able to hold it. In spots they were holding water with the plywood and plastic and I guess some sandbags too. But they made it work, and they kept the water off a lot of farmland even. So here's the floodgates, guys. Now, you can see that dirt and stuff there is not supposed to be there. They actually held about a foot of water on top of the road that I'm standing on. By this point, I think it had already started going down by this point when we got there. So, yeah, they built this, I think it was about a 2.5 foot tall levee out of plastic and dirt and such on top of the road. It's just crazy to think that they did this and that they held the water back, because if this would wash out, this would be very, very bad. This was replaced right after the 1993 flood. I think the year on it is 94. that they actually put this in, because obviously it was wiped out in the 93 flood, whatever was there before. And so yeah, this is like our flood management down there. All the water here drains out to the river, so that's why all that water back towards town couldn't drain, because there's so much water here. The floodgates are like 10 feet underwater at this point. So you can see the difference between the left and the right side of the road there. This is a little seep water coming through the levee, and now we're back to the plywood on top of the levee. You can see how they staked all the plywood into the levee to hold the water back. It's just crazy that, you know, they did it, but very thankful, and they did a good job. So just more water, not supposed to be there, you know, just water everywhere. Water across the road again. We didn't actually drive through this one because we couldn't see the road. Now we're back at the floodgates when the water came down a little bit. And my screensaver just kicked on, so I couldn't see anything. So you can see here, it got cold. The water started freezing up, and now the water's down a couple feet off the road, back down to where it should be, on that side anyway. And here, just more water that shouldn't be there. I don't actually remember where this was. I don't know. Everywhere we drove, there was water that shouldn't be there. So like here, both sides of the road, water. Just water, water, water. Everywhere. How many times in this video have I said water? Probably a lot. So this is river water. There's not actually a levee here. So the river just kind of backs right in right here. And you can just see all the debris on the road that got washed in by the rains. All the corn debris coming out of the fields, you know. And such things like that. For some reason, the train track had a bunch of rail laying next to it. I don't know, I thought it was cool. All the electric lines there with all the water. And I think the county actually came down with snow plows to clean the road. So now here you can see, this is a couple days later. The river had started coming down, and you can actually see the floodgates. Where I was standing was a foot underwater at one point in time. So for this much water to go down, which, you know, that means the river went down high. So the river has gone down, so all the water back on the other side of the floodgates can start flowing out to the river. So it's kind of a cool thing. There was a lot of wind noise, that's why there's no audio here. But the water was just roaring through here. Just crazy how loud that water is actually going through there. But it is very, very neat. I know, it's just water flowing under a road, but it's still kind of cool. So we'll get the zoom going. You can just see the speed of this water. Crazy how fast this water's rolling. Just crazy. And there's not much video of this because it was so cold that I just couldn't take much more. So yeah, that's that. Now here's the upstream side. You can see there's, you know, corn debris and some tree branches and stuff in there. Slowing the water down a little bit, but not too much of a big deal, I don't think, I guess. I don't know. I don't know if they actually go down there and clean this out with like an excavator or not. That's pretty far down actually from the roadway. But yeah. So I should have put this into the flood prep video, but I totally forgot. So this is the loft of our shed where you saw us loading stuff up there. And it's just like crammed with stuff, and it's still pretty much all there. We will be getting it down over the winter, and come spring all of it will be back down because we need a lot of that stuff. So guys, if you like this video, please like and subscribe for more. I'll catch you next time. Toodles!